Brendan.
I'm Karen.
And together we're Fox and Rabbit. We're filming this, our 25th, it's hard for me to say, Flosstube on Friday the 16th of September. We're in the new studio now.
Yep, all
So
set up.
hopefully it looks okay and sounds okay. We don't know yet. We'll find out pretty soon.
The room's still quite big, so hopefully it's not too echoey.
But we've got a new sampler wall behind us. It goes all the way up here. For some reason, Karen decided to go to the ceiling. I don't know why. I'm guessing we'll show you some photos of it later.
Yeah, well, eventually, well, not this week, but we'll do just a video of what's behind us. And we've got room to move at the sides as
There's
well.
a whole wall over here we can fill as well.
It's nice to be surrounded by all pretty things.
Yeah, and then you've got all those walls over there. You can fill.
I'll be filling everything.
All those walls over there. I'm going to be spending 20 years filling holes in when we ever leave this place.
Yep.
So I'm back at work this week.
Yes.
I've been off sick with a flu for the last week or so.
Not COVID.
No.
Thank you so much to everyone who was worried, but no, he got his PCR tests and
We've both managed to avoid that.
I don't know how. Really don't know how.
But
Touch wood. Oh, geez. Jinx ourselves, Brendan. That's the way.
Yeah.
A good old-fashioned cold flu.
Yeah.
Laid you out, though.
Yeah, so I was in bed for a week. There was a lot of messages about man flu. It was a real flu, not a man flu. I actually was sick.
And Brendan doesn't, actually, in all honesty, Bren doesn't get sick very often over the years, and this one laid him out. So, but you didn't actually think it was COVID. Just not that there's anything that you're really looking out for, but you just wanted to go and get the PCR just to double check.
Yeah.
But I avoided him and somehow managed to not get it, thankfully. So, and I was up here just cutting and serging and doing all the things while you were being looked after by the girls and Jimmy to a point.
Hey, that's one thing we're going to not have here now.
Well,
Interruptions from little eaglets.
well, unless they're here when we're filming. It's actually Friday afternoon, so they're at home today because we had a lot of setting up to do and we just couldn't do it with the girls jumping
I
over
had to
everything.
paint today.
And Bren had to paint the bits in the wall, which is looking good.
Yeah, one of the walls next to us was damaged. It had this horrible table thing on it. And when we pulled it off, I don't know what they'd done. It was like 7,000 screw holes. And
yeah, you had to patch it all up. And luckily they left the paint. And so Bren was able to just paint it. You'll eventually have to just do the entire wall so it all blends in, but it's fine for now.
yeah, no one can see it now. I noticed anyway, so I didn't need to paint it.
I was just thinking the exact same thing. It was like, oh my gosh, we put off doing it until the paint dried and we could put all this up around us today and it didn't really even matter. So it's all good. Yeah, but it's nice to be in a designated spot. So we'll just leave this set up each week now and we can just, as we get things or buy things or think of things, we can just leave them on the table here during the week and it's all here ready for us. Hopefully every Friday afternoon, that's the plan.
Yep.
So we can upload it, be uploaded to be up on our Saturday. So it's up for the weekend, basically, when everyone's got more time to watch. Don't you think? Mm-hmm. Yep. So what else, baby?
Because I've been sick, I've been running a little bit late on the fabric of the month. It's all dyed now.
Yep.
It's all packaged up, ready to go. We were hoping that the post would pick it up today.
Yeah.
But they didn't come.
Sometimes it happens, though.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I might have got it in too late.
I was going to say, it depends when you have it. It's convenient to have it picked up here rather than us have to go up there. But yeah, it's like the council pick up with the rubbish and stuff. If you don't get in by a certain time, you miss that day.
But it's also Friday, so they're probably at the pub.
Yeah.
So that's probably why they didn't pick it up.
Things tend to be a little bit earlier knock-off time on a Friday. Technically it's 5, but yeah. But that's okay. And I was rushing like a mad, crazy person to just get it all ironed and serged and the pieces all done so Brent can package it up. And and that's okay. But it's all done now. So that's
it's all done. So it'll go on Monday.
That's including our new Fabric Club subscribers.
Yeah.
Because you open it up for a few more people.
Yeah, we added over 100 additional people to the club. So we'll see how that beds down, and then if we've got some more capacity, then in a month or two, then we might add a few more. People are going to drop out over the next couple of months anyway, so there'll be some places come available. But again, we'll do that same process. We'll go back through the list based on the order that people registered their interest on our wait list.
Oh yes, and well, obviously, I'm sure you've seen this on. Everyone's mentioning it. Obviously, this past week, it was actually a week ago today. The Queen passed away. Obviously, as everyone's well aware, it's been on every news broadcast ad nauseum for the last week. It's been an amazing coverage.
You've watched every one of them.
Oh, pretty much. Yeah. Well, we stayed up the other night and watched as her coffin was left Buckingham Palace, made its way to the chapel. But I think her funeral is on 8 p.m. Monday our time, so we'll definitely be watching that. It's just very sad, you know. Obviously, Australia is still part of Great Britain. Whether or not, you know, there's all the debate now, you know, should we become a republic? Should we stay with the monarchy? That's a discussion, I think, for a different time. I think at the moment we just need to sort of take some time and just reflect on the amazing life of Queen Elizabeth. She's been the one constant in our life, all of our lives. And as somebody said, right down to the jangling of the change in our pockets, because she's on all of our currency. So, yeah, a life well lived, and yeah, it's been extraordinary scenes we're seeing out of Britain at the moment. Our friend Julie is travelling around there at the moment. She literally arrived. That's Kansas City Girl in a Colorado World. She literally arrived the day before the Queen passed, I think. In fact, it was Julie who texted me. It was late our time on the last Thursday night, and said, gosh, we've just arrived and there's all this news about the royal family being called to Balmoral Castle in Scotland. The Queen had taken a turn for the worse. So that was the first week, because we hadn't been watching the news. You were still sick. I was busy at work, and we were setting up. And so we tuned in. We thought, this doesn't sound good. And we woke up to the awful news on the Friday morning. So very, very sad. But, you know, an amazing life, 96.
Yep.
You know, pretty good innings. But, you know, it was interesting. They were saying that her final resting place will be at Windsor Castle, and I got a bit teary because they were saying that when her husband passed away last year, his body is in the crypt, but they had a pact to wait until she passed, and then they would then be buried together in the royal crypt. So I thought that was just beautiful. You know, 73 years of marriage they had. So Philip and Elizabeth.
Yeah.
Their Royal Highnesses will be buried together, which is amazing. On Monday.
Monday evening our time. And for some reason, unknown to anybody other than the Australian government, they declared a public holiday on Thursday.
A day of mourning. Yeah, Thursday. How peculiar. We knew they'd declare a public holiday because, as I said, we are still part of the British Empire, so to speak. But
apparently I found out why they chose Thursday.
Oh, why is that?
It's because it's the day the Prime Minister gets back from the funeral.
Oh, okay.
So obviously he didn't want to miss out on the public holiday.
Oh, Brendan, stop it! Wow. Oh well, you know what? We'll take the day.
Well, it means nothing to us anyway.
Well, it does. We'll have it off though.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have the day off. Sit at home, stitch, and watch all the. There'll probably still be a million things going on the television, but yeah. So we'll take the public holiday.
But on Friday in Australia, there will be millions of people sick suddenly.
Yes, because it was so big.
So they could have a long weekend.
Yeah, why he didn't make it the Friday? Like, it's not like Thursday is the funeral. It's a random day. Why not make it a Friday? It was very odd. But anyway, like I said, we'll take it.
But apparently that's why it's on Thursday. It's the day that the Prime Minister arrives
back from the funeral.
And apparently that's the protocol.
No, okay.
I know, it's weird. Like a lot of this stuff.
But yeah, so it's been, you know, it's the end of the Elizabethan, the second Elizabethan age. It's quite extraordinary.
So what do you call the next one?
Well, I don't know. I was wondering that the other day.
Chucky or something?
No, stop. I don't know. Because, I was going to say it tends to be the Victorian age, the Elizabethan age, but then there was the Georgian age, so I don't know.
You can't have the Charlian.
I don't know. I honestly don't know.
I don't know.
Whatever. It is what it is, but... yeah, so that'll be, that's been a big week.
But some good things happening too. Some birthdays.
Yes. Yesterday I went down. My friend Jody lives down the south coast, so there's a city called Wollongong, which is halfway for both of us. So we have our favourite restaurant there. So we met yesterday for her birthday. Her birthday is on Sunday, so happy birthday for Sunday, Jody. We had a lovely, lovely lunch. So I left Brendan here
Doing all the work.
hard at work. Yeah. So that was lovely, and our lovely friend Jenny was, I think it was the 5th of September. Yes, so hers was, and I actually,
Last week.
hers was last week. So happy birthday for last week, Jen, and happy birthday to Jodie for Sunday. Yeah. All my friends' birthdays in September.
Yeah.
And my dad will be 80 on the 6th of October. So in a couple of weeks, but we're going up, they're having a big lunch for my dad on the following weekend because there's a thing in Australia, in New South Wales called the Bathurst Motor Races, which is on the weekend of my dad's birthday. And
they live near there.
And they live in the town that the Bathurst races are on. So you cannot get, for anyone coming for my dad's birthday, you can't get a hotel, you can't, the roads are jammed right back to Sydney. It's a crazy weekend. It's just a bad weekend for car accidents on the roads and stuff because there's so much traffic going out there. So my dad didn't want anyone travelling to Bathurst on that weekend, so they've put it on to the following weekend. So we'll put photos up of my dad's birthday when we go. Yeah, so that's another couple of weeks away anyway, but yeah, it's coming up. And by the way, I was just thinking about something too. Some of the comments from our last video, a lot of people were commenting on how much more talkative Bren's been, and which is good, and everyone was loving that. But I was saying, I think it goes back to the summer school at the attic. I don't think I've known Brendan now for almost 30 years, and I don't think I've ever seen him talk so much over an entire weekend. And you were holding court everywhere, weren't you, baby?
But it's all worn off now, so I'm back to normal.
Just hysterical. So I think the last video was just that still wearing off, wasn't it, baby? So that's anyone's one. Okay.
Yeah, but we've been talking a little bit recently to Zweigart. So as everybody knows, getting fabric for the last couple of years now has been an issue. Zweigart now are only 6 months behind in orders, and I think they're going to be 6 months behind in orders forever going forward. They've managed to catch up and get to 6 months, but I don't think they're going to be able to catch up any further. So
and you're ordering 6 months out. You're doing your production run 6 months out.
Yeah, that's the maximum they'll let me order out. So we're trying to guess 6 months out what kind of fabric we'll need. But it's taking them that whole 6 months to actually create the orders.
Well, you ordered the 36 count. The next lot of 36 count, back in April?
Well, some of the stuff that we ordered last year has only just been made.
Yeah.
So it's just been made or being made. So we're trying to plan it and trying to guess what we're going to need going forward. We've got a lot of fabric in the pipeline.
Yeah. Already ordered, yeah.
Yeah, and there's a fair bit that's now available for us that we've been waiting a long time for. So some of the older orders where we've been waiting on some of the other counts in larger quantities, the 28 and 32 in larger quantities. We're actually going to be able to start to fill those orders now.
Finally.
Which will be good, so we can get some of those older orders, especially for some of the big stores, done and off our books.
Yeah, they've been waiting. They've been waiting too long, and it's just because we've just had to wait for it to be produced for us.
Yeah, but there is going forward with Zweigart. There's going to be no catch up. They're always going to be that far behind. Especially now that they're heading into winter, and with the energy crisis in Europe, they're actually cutting out one shift.
7 hours a day.
Oh, 8 hours a day.
Was it 8 hours?
8 hours, yeah.
So what they have been working 24/7, haven't they? The machines.
They've had 3 production shifts going up until now, but now they're cutting back because of energy. They can't get enough electricity to run 24 hours a day anymore. Yeah. So they're only going to be doing 2 shifts. They're going to be running 18 hours a day.
Just going to set it stands to reason it's going to set them back even further.
Well, they're saying that they've planned for that, and But part of the reason why they were so far behind too was because they couldn't get flax.
Oh, that's right. They were saying that they've now got the
Yeah.
natural fibres. So that's good news.
So they were having a lot of trouble sourcing flax. Their suppliers, I don't know whether they had crop failures or something, but now they've got
COVID and everything, I think. Yeah.
But when I was talking to Nadia, they've now got a massive warehouse full of raw materials.
So that's great news.
Yeah. So that was part of the reason why they were running behind as well, because they didn't actually have the raw materials to actually make
Which we didn't know, did we? We just knew that they were behind. We thought they just didn't have the capacity with the machines and the staff, even though they bought one and put more people on. Yeah. We just thought, why aren't they just getting another machine? Like, I know it's a lot of money, but it was partly too because of the raw material shortage, which we didn't know.
So that even though they've cut back one shift, they still think they're going to be able to maintain their current schedule. But we'll keep an eye on it over the next couple of months and see how that goes. But at the moment we're okay. And as I said, we're actually going to be able to fill some orders that we haven't been able to fill for a while because of some of those other counts.
Our stocks are good. And over there, we draw down off our production runs. Brent's got a massive one coming Tuesday, Wednesday. It's on its way. It's
in Singapore now, so we should have it on Tuesday or Wednesday.
And that's got 46 count on it too, doesn't it?
It's got 40 count and 46 count on it.
Yep.
It's only 40. It's only 36, 40. That
46.
one's 40, 36, 40. 46 and some ADA.
That's right.
And then there's another shipment that's coming just after that with 28 count.
With the 28 and 32,
Yep. So we'll be able to get those out. So that should be here.
So good to get those done.
That'll be late next week, early the week after.
Probably the week after.
So depending on when that all arrives. So I don't know, we're going to store it all.
You've got plenty of room. It's fine.
Yeah.
I don't know how we're going to cut in surgeon.
That's your problem. That's not my problem.
That's okay. We'll get there.
So we're trying to keep on, I guess the whole purpose of talking about this is we're trying to keep on top of it. We don't think we're going to have any problems going forward, but we could have it. If we do, we'll let you know.
Yeah. But it also means that we're looking at possibly introducing another fabric company line.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later.
Oh, okay. I'm off the list.
Look.
I thought you had it written there. Okay, we'll talk about that later.
There.
All right. Once again. See, we've even got the list and I'm going off it. So
I didn't know why I bothered doing the list.
Anyway, righto. What's next, baby?
But one of the things that we actually forgot to tell you about previously.
It's also because we had this here and we did our last video at...
Well, in America.
In America,
and then at home, the emergency one at home.
Yeah.
There's a retreat in October in London called Stitch in London.
2022.
It's on the 14th to the 16th of October.
Yeah, being run by Marie.
Yeah. We'll put the details down below. But it's a reasonably priced retreat. It's being run at the Holiday Inn in Watford, which is apparently 20 minutes by train to central London, Euston.
Yeah.
And it's being run apparently with the same model as Stitchcom and Stitch North.
Yeah.
So the price of the tickets, which are really reasonable, includes access to the stitching room, free parking, tea and coffee, a goodie bag, a quiz, Friday evening quiz. Yeah, and then there's some prizes to win, and an optional s'mores exchange.
It doesn't include accommodation and food, but again, that's an amazing deal. So we wish we were there because we would love to go. But it must have been. I was only thinking, when we saw this again, I was like, oh my gosh, how stressful that must have been for Marie and the organisers. Just with can't be helped, I know, but with the Queen's passing, that would have been a bit of a heart starter because a lot of stuff closes down and everything while they're honouring the Queen's passing. But luckily that's still a few weeks away, so everything should be back to normal by then. So we wish them well with their retreat, and hopefully it's going to be an annual retreat, I believe.
Yeah.
All going well with this first one. So hopefully by now they're full. Who knows? I don't know, and I'm sorry we didn't mention it earlier because we were overseas and completely forgot to put it on.
We'll put the link down below, so if you're in London or in the UK and interested in it, The link will be down below so you can find out more
And
information.
contact the organisers and see if they do have places left.
Yeah.
Part of me hopes they don't, so that means it's been a big success getting it all booked. But so our apologies for not mentioning that sooner. Very exciting.
But we've got a couple of things coming up too.
What have we got coming up, baby?
So the Cruel Goblins annual sampler.
Yeah. Very excited about
What is it called? I can't even remember writing.
Sampler celebration.
Okay, I'm glad you can read it.
Oh, actually, no, I don't think. What have you got?
Yes, sampler celebration. Annual sampler celebration. That looks like right.
I will just look it up in case. Just
I don't know. I can't read my own writing.
Brendan can't read his own writing. I should
So
know.
that's on the 8th of October.
Yeah, that's going to be so much fun.
It's really rude being on your phone.
If you'd written it down to the point where we could read it, Brendan, we'd be okay. Hang on a minute. I'll just tell you exactly what it is.
So we're really looking forward to that going down and meeting everybody and talking about samplers and
and I can't find it to save myself, but that's okay. Yeah, so we're going down to quite a few of our friends are coming to it. I think some friends are coming up from Melbourne and down from Brisbane, all over the place. So it's going to be a great day.
Yep.
And we actually presented it at this one time a couple of years ago. But we much prefer being the attendees.
Yes.
So that'll be fun. And knowing Julie, it'll be beautifully run and there'll be lots of things to buy and see and be inspired by.
And
so
you'll have some pretty new samplers for us to look at.
Yeah. I don't know if there are any spots left for that, but definitely contact the Cruel Goblin, speak to Julie or one of her lovely staff, and they'll be able to tell you if there are any places left.
Yeah.
So it was very, very lucky too, because that is the weekend of my dad's birthday. So so we weren't too sure if we were going to be able to make it or whether we were going to be able to attend. So so that's something to look forward to.
And we've got our Mirabilia retreat
Yes,
coming up in November.
Yep.
12th and 13th of November.
Yep.
So I think it's 2 years now we've been trying to have this retreat.
Yes.
COVID's killed it.
Kick that can down the road 2 years.
3 times, I think, now. COVID has caused a delay in the retreat.
Yep.
But it looks like we'll be, touch wood and everything else.
Yeah.
We'll be okay this time.
This is, as many of you probably know, we had Linen and Threads for 22 years or something, and we used to run lots of retreats. We had our Plum Street retreat, we have had our annual Mirabilia retreat, we've had our sampler retreats, we've had a lot. This is our last one. So, I should say it's our last Linen and Threads retreat anyway. We may do a Fox and Rabbit one at one point, like our previous ones, maybe. At the moment, we're just so busy. I just don't want to commit to anything. A lot of people have been asking me if we're going to do our sampler retreat again now that COVID's sort of in the rear view mirror, but I don't know. We are so busy with Patreon and everything else now. I don't think we'll have time, but never say never, we may. However, we are looking forward to the Mirabilia retreat. So we have room to take some more people. We've got a good number coming, but if anyone does want to come, please let us know. Brent will put the link below, and that'll be fun. Go out with a big celebration at that retreat, so that'll be a lot of fun.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so you mentioned Patreon there.
Yes.
So lots of things are happening with our Patreon group.
Yep.
We were a little neglectful of it last month because we were overseas.
Yeah.
Travelling around on our vacation.
Not easy to get internet coverage in a lot of places.
No, a lot of besides being almost pitch black, most of the hotel rooms had really crappy internet.
No, not good.
Really crappy internet.
And even travelling, we were having trouble getting signals in places, and oh my goodness, it was So it felt. It felt like we were quite neglectful back in August, but everyone seemed to understand. They were really good.
Yeah.
By the way, I just looked at the annual sampler celebration at the Cruel Goblin.
Yes, I wrote it down right. I just couldn't read it.
You just couldn't read your writing, baby. That's all. Yeah. So we want to sort of, obviously start doing a lot more things for our lovely patrons. So yeah.
So we've got a couple of things happening. So our tier 4 patrons. They 4 times a year, as part of that tier, they get a little package of goodies sent to them. And we had to delay that because we had trouble sourcing the fabric for the project bags
Yeah.
that some of those people in that tier get.
They had a choice of 2 different things.
Yeah. That's all finally arrived now. I'm looking
Thank goodness,
at that
yes.
pile of
And I've started
fabric over
making
there.
them. I had to wait also to the pellin that I put as like a padding in between the bags. The company sent us the wrong stuff. They sent us weave line by mistake. So I had to go down to Sydney, swap all that over.
Yeah, I
So
thought that was funny. You were asking me to look at the delivery you got and tell you what
I
you
was
got.
actually not in the studio. So I said to Brendan, even though I know I put the right code on, I said, I think when he showed me, I said, can you take a photo?
But you're telling me, did they send you Pellin? I'm saying, what the hell's Pellin? I've got no idea. It's
I
this
said,
stuff.
is it a little bit thick? He says, it's like about 1/4 of a millimetre. I'm like, well, that's too thin. Can you take a photo? Oh, and I was panicking because I knew I needed to
But
ring
you're
them
getting
and say,
cracky with me because I didn't know what the hell Pellin was.
I just think so. Luckily, next door to us, the other studio here, the one next door to us, is luckily a friend of ours, Jackie from Imprezio, and she's does a lot of the cardboard papers and templates and stuff like that. They have the big machines, and they do stuff for us too, for the patchwork and needlework industry. So I sort of phoned Jackie and said, Jackie, can you just pop next door and just let me know, is that Pellin or is it, something else? So she did. So then I was able to contact the supplier and say, you've sent me 3 rolls of the wrong thing. And then I was going down, so I said I was able to come back here, pick it all up, take it back down. So yeah, so that's in the process of being made. So they will definitely go out this month.
Yep.
And then we haven't actually said, just because there can be delays with fabric, with all sorts of stuff, we have said that it's 4 times a year. We would aim to have it 4 equal times a year, but there will be times where it might be a month shorter or longer, but there will be 4 shipments a year. Like what we're going to try to do now is have our next shipment in November. So it'll be one less month that they have to wait. So does that make sense? It does to us anyway. So yeah, so once Bren's got the fabric, he's done. He's just waiting for me to get these project bags finished now. So I will be getting stuck into finishing those in the next week.
Yep.
So thank you to everyone in Tier 4 for their patience with that one. Because what also happened, we only decided back in June to start to offer the project bags as an option in that tier. And I'm not sure many people know, but we use good quality patchwork fabric. With patchwork fabric, when you buy it from the wholesale companies, you have to what's called indent the fabric, which means you might have a rep call and say, okay, these are the fabric lines that are coming out in 4 months' time, or whatever. You're always having to order in advance. So what you do is you indent it. So in other words, you place an order for a fabric line coming out maybe in 4 months' time. Well, because we decided to do it in June, we missed the cutoff for most of those things. So we just had to get on a late list sort of thing for the fabric orders, and it was supposed to come in July because we wanted them out before we left in August, but and then we thought it was supposed to be here when we got back from holidays. It wasn't here. It just got here last week. So yeah, so that's why there was a delay. Now what we've done is we've put in forward orders now.
Well, I think you've
I've got the next lot as well.
We've got the fabric for the next lot of bags there as well.
So we've got the ones for now, the ones for November, and we've got orders now. We've indented the fabric orders for the quarters going forward. So we're nice and in front of all that now, so we'll be okay. But it was just because we started off without, behind the 8 ball. So
yep.
Excuse me. Oh, and what the Advent card. And because everything was a little bit sort of, we weren't sort of all that present in August, I thought, well, what can I do sort of this month? So for our tiers 3 and 4, I'm designing a little Halloween Advent calendar. So basically, hopefully in the next week, I'll be able to post for all those in level tiers 3 and 4 the border of it and the requirements, and then the idea is that on the 1st of October we start stitching an Advent, one a day. a little designer go and finish off with a complete advent calendar on the 31st of October. So everyone knows how much I love Halloween. So I thought, well, let's do that. So I'm working on that now. Everyone's asking when they'll get the supplies. I will have a supply list in the next week, plus the border or the frame, so you can start stitching that ready for the 1st of October.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a little bit of a bonus we want to try to do bonuses for our Patreons every so often, things that aren't necessarily included in there, in the tier that they've signed up for. They might just get a bonus every so often, and we'll add and tweak things as we go. And if anyone's in our Patreon groups have got any suggestions that they want to see, we'll always try to do our best. Yeah. So that'll be a bit of fun, a bit of Halloween stitching.
But we'll get to catch up with some of our Patreons next weekend.
Yes, we've got to list that date actually. So not this weekend coming, next weekend.
So this weekend we've got our general Zoom stitch along.
Yep.
So the details are on the website under the events tab.
That's always fun.
If you wanted to come and say hello to us on either Saturday or Sunday, depending on what time zone you're
Where you're at. Sunday morning our time, mostly Saturday.
For the rest of the world. Yep. Well,
a couple of hours ahead in New Zealand.
Yep.
So it's Sunday for New Zealand and us, and very late on Saturday night, unfortunately, for the UK.
Just Saturday for the UK.
But then it's also going to be, is that going to be? No, it's the day before the Queen's funeral. So, we'll see anyway. But I know I say it all the time, but we are going to try to change that up soon, every so often, just so they will have a reasonable stitching hour. Even if it means us getting up at 3 or 4 in the morning to do it, just so everyone's got a good time zone. So we will mix that up.
Yep, and we'll have a next weekend, we'll have a Patreon exclusive Zoom.
Yep, which we'll post that later today.
Which there could be a few surprises for some of our Patreons. As part of that, we'll have some stuff to give away.
Yep.
And we're going to start, well, I'm not, you are.
He's not, because he doesn't have time.
You're going to start streaming too. I've got to set that up.
For our patrons, I want to try to do a Zoom.
So I've got to work out how to set that up in the next week as well. Somehow.
Yeah.
I don't know how.
Oh, I've got a stitch, so I might as well be talking to everyone while we do that. But Brendan has to work out how that happens.
I've got to try and work out how to put a top-down camera.
And the good thing is, now that we're set up here, this is all set up. We don't have to worry about, I don't have to go and grab him, and, well, I need to grab him to start it off for me, but at least I can think, okay, I've got time. I may even just do some random streaming every so often as well. So, but we'll start that next week as well. Again, we'll post what date that's going to be. It's not working, sweetness. Oh, phew, that was lucky. So, okay, so that's pretty much our news.
Yeah.
I'm sure we've forgotten things. We're going to have to start writing things down as we think of them. We're getting old. We're forgetting things. I always kick myself at the end of these and think, oh, my God, there's 3 or 4 things we were important that was supposed to mention and we didn't. So, yeah. Okay. What's next?
Oh, actually, there was one thing that we didn't
I told you I knew there would be.
talk about in our new releases.
Oh, yeah.
So we'll show you those next video.
Mm-hmm.
We've got 2 new colours and 3 new charts that are being released.
Yep.
They'll be going out probably late next week.
Mm-hmm.
Just waiting on the printer.
We've got to get the covers back from the printer.
Yeah, so I don't know how long they're going to take. We're still waiting on that.
Mm-hmm.
They'll go out to the shops on our order program first,
Mm-hmm.
and then a couple of weeks after that, they'll be available for other shops to order as well.
Yep.
So we'll show you those charts and those 2 new colours on the next video.
We can't show you the models because they're at the attic. But,
yeah, Jean nailed them onto the wall and wouldn't let us take them home.
There you go. See, I told you there'd be something we'd forget.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm not sure. We'll have to chase those covers so we can get that done. So get those back. Okay.
Stitching.
Oh, stitching. We don't have any stitching.
None that we can show.
Well, I can't show you anything, and neither can Brendan.
Well, I didn't bring mine.
Because he left it at home.
Yeah,
and there's also, just out of our street, we've had, as you all know, we've had, floodwaters to end all floodwaters this last, 18 months or so. And as a result, the roads are they have potholes going halfway to hell, honestly. It's just been shocking. And finally, we're in kind of a semi-rural little street. We have farmlands across from us, and like a cul-de-sac at both ends of our street. So it's quite semi-rural, but we've got one road that goes out onto the main road where the lake is. And for the last week they've had, they're resurfacing the road. That's not a bad thing. We're happy about that. But, oh, my gosh, it's been a nightmare, hasn't it?
So they've been digging the road up and back down to the dirt and they're rebuilding the road base at the moment. But the road base they're putting down's got more potholes in it than the road did before they started. I don't know what they're doing.
I think I'm reserving judgment until the end. That lady told you, the lady that holds the lollipop sign.
She said it would be better. I don't believe her at the moment. But they've spent the last 2 weeks digging everything up and relaying it back down again. And today they're digging it back up again. I
don't know what's going on. But the other day, Brennan had to get home because they're very narrow streets too. Even our main road that runs along the lake, there are no footpaths. So it's just sort of grass area people can walk on. And there's great big kind of table drains. So it's a very... 2 cars can only just pass on the road. They've got these massive earth-moving things. You were there the other day, an hour and a half or something. Didn't it take you to get home?
Yeah, well, these machines, because the ground is so soft because of all the rain we've had.
And narrow.
These massive machines, it's enormous, this machine that they've got that's digging the road up. It kept getting bogged.
And tipped, didn't it?
So the other day I got caught waiting for an hour and a half because they had to get this massive big thing in to actually drag it out of a ditch because the thing had almost tipped over.
In the table drain.
Yeah. So I don't know if the guy that was driving it was a little bit drunk or distracted.
Didn't the lady told you, the lollipop lady told you that it's like the 3rd time it's happened in a week or something?
No, she said it happens 3 to 4 times a day. Because the ground is just so soft and this machine's so heavy that the ground just collapses out from under it and it tilts and almost falls over. So they have to get a big grader and a crane in to lift it back up.
But as a consequence, you really have to think. Like today, Brendan went. It was okay this morning. There wasn't anyone around this morning, and then you went home to get something. To get the cameras for today because he'd left them at home this morning, and they were back, and you had to wait ages to get back into our street.
Yep.
So when he got back here, we're only about 7 minutes from there, but he was gone for ages. And then we realised he'd left his stitching at home. And now normally he could just quickly duck home and get that. But you just can't because he could be gone for an hour. It's just, thankfully they finished in the afternoon so we can get home in the late afternoon. But I'm just praying. They said to you a week, didn't they?
They said if it doesn't rain.
Yeah, which it did yesterday.
Which it poured yesterday. So I don't know if that means... I don't know what that means.
Who knows?
But as I said today, all that stuff that they'd spent 2 weeks doing, they were digging back up again. So I'm
wondering whether that torrential rain yesterday...
Well, it looked like they're putting more drainage in from one side of the road to the other.
Anyway, so that's why he doesn't have his stitching to show. But you were stitching.
Yeah.
What? What have you stitched this last?
So I was stitching on a new constellation.
Yes,
by
Plum Street. Plum Street Samplers.
And also Mary Inglis from Merrywin Focus.
1830. That was his birthday sale. You made good progress on that. You're getting there.
A little bit, yeah.
Like he hasn't had much time. He's been sick as a dog. He couldn't obviously stitch while he was sick. And then, we've been playing catch up since then. So you're trying to stitch it.
I could have probably, but I was feeling too sorry for myself.
You were.
Yeah.
Bit miserable. And me, I've been stitching my model for the...
I've been helping with that too.
Brendan has, I must admit. Like there've been days where I've had to be here. And that actually was when you were sick.
Yeah.
So some of the days where Brendan was just literally at home and, as I said, towards the end when he was starting to feel a little bit more human, because I had to be up here, he was helping me out by doing the borders it's for the exclusive that we're doing for the homespun needlework, cross stitch and sampler group. It's the exclusive. We're the October design. So I am madly stitching this model day and night to get it finished in time. It's looking really good, but it's one of those ones, it's a lot of stitching. And sometimes you stitch things and it can be a big sampler even, and it just feels like it stitches up quickly. For example, years ago I stitched His Eyes on the Sparrow by Heartstring Sampling, and that is a huge sampler, as many of you know. I stitched that thing, now granted, it's bigger than the one we're our exclusive, but I stitched that, I think, in around about 3.5, 4 months, and that wasn't even stitching it that often. it just seemed to stitch really fast. This just seems to be like, I feel like I'm in quicksand. It's like the more I do, I just don't feel like it's just getting there. But it is getting there. I'm joking. But I have been stitching that day and night. When I have been here, Bren was kindly starting to stitch the repetitive border because he could do that. You know, whatever bits he did to help me out. So I'm loving how it's looking. I'm hoping everybody else is going to love it as much as we do. Obviously, we can't tell you the shop yet. Understand, a lot of people have been asking us because it's been announced on the Homespun group that we are the October designer, and we've been getting asked who the shop is. Obviously, they don't want to disclose it yet because the store will be inundated. Well, we hope inundated. But no, you don't want. They're organising the floss. Bren's dyeing the fabric. I'm getting the model finished. They don't want people contacting them now wanting to order it in advance or anything like that. And I know it's sight unseen, but I'm sure that there will be some people that want to do that. So all that will be announced when it's ready to go, who the shop is, what date it'll be available. That's sort of all on us at the moment a bit. I know the shop is waiting on the threads to arrive. Bren's just got the order for the fabric, so he'll be dyeing that. And really, it's just all on me to get this thing finished. So I am stitching as fast as I can. It's basically going to be in October. I know the date we'd like to get it done. It will definitely be in October, but I'm going as fast as I can. So as a consequence, I haven't stitched anything else. And it's killing me, I have to say, because I'm not usually a monogamous stitcher. I've stitched oftentimes on models that we've got to get ready for market and things like that. But this one is just, she's a big one, but she's beautiful. So, yeah. So I wish I could show you, but I just can't. Maybe when it's close to the time, I'll ask Julie Kasabe from the Homespun group whether I can show a little sneak peek, but I think they want it to be a complete surprise. And I totally get that. There's very few surprises in life these days. So, yeah. So hopefully you're all going to like that one. So keep an eye on that group. If you don't belong to the group, it's only available. What happens is a shop partners with the designer, but you have to be a member of that group to be able to order it. They'll put a link to the shop, but you can't buy it unless you are a member of the group. And it's a fantastic group to belong to anyway. Yes, they have the fabulous designer exclusives. Tanya Brockmeyer's from the Scarlet House, hers is just finished. There's been Vicky from Needlework Press. There's been Kathy Haberman from Hands On Design, Stacey Nash. I'm just trying to think of all the different ones. Beth Twist. I know I got Beth's one. It was fabulous. Plus, everyone just shares their stitching as well. It's a group for general stitching as well. Everyone's sharing their beautiful things. So can't recommend that group highly enough. Okay. So, yes, sadly, and yeah, we do want to start showing a lot more stitching. So as soon as that's finished, I will be stitching like a different thing every day. So, yeah, that's it. What's next, Bren?
Purchase assistance.
Okay. Do you want to tell a story behind these things? Anyone who's watched Brenda and Laura will probably know the story, but...
Yeah, you've probably already heard about tidy boxes.
Tidy Made. Brenda keeps getting it wrong. It's Tidee Made, M-A-I-D. Gosh. Yeah. Brandon scored. Well, I've actually already started. So for when my exclusive model is finished, I'll be starting one that I got the Addicts conversion for, which I'll show you all next month. But I've got the 103s already in there. They fit beautifully. But what happened? We were sitting in the foyer at the hotel where we were for summer school, and one of the ladies, I'm so sorry, I cannot, her name's just gone straight out of my head, was sitting there and had these on the table. And everybody, they're vintage, I don't know, when are they from, maybe the 50s? Probably the 50s, 60s. But they fit perfectly in these, for all these top spools. What are the ones we've got in those boxes? I can't think of the name of them. The cottons. Oh, it's got out of my head. But anything that's on that kind of spool fit perfectly in there. So the regular 103s by Veriswa.
So you buy them on eBay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were able to buy them money. Needless to say, all of us were madly ordering them around the table that night. And I think there were still quite a few. Brennan's came with, yours was the same price as mine, but came with the vintage.
Yeah, mine actually come with vintage cottons.
Oh.
So I've got
Yeah. So
a
it was
whole
a nice
series
little
of
bonus.
vintage cottons. But the boxes are pretty amazing. They actually have slits in them so that you can actually have your thread
Sitting on them.
coming out through the slit
Yeah.
with the lid on.
Which is very cool.
Yeah, so you can have all your threads just coming
Out the sides. They're very
Pretty
well
boxes. I don't know what I'm going to do with these cotton reels.
I just said we can put them aside for staging when we want to stage one of our designs and things like that. It's always nice to have vintagey things around.
But there's lots of pretty wooden cotton reels in here with little cottons on them.
Yeah. They're just nice. They're good little transportable ones when you just want to stitch with that on the table, or if you have a retreat or something like that. We have all the sulky boxes. It was the sulky thread I was trying to think of. I knew it was there somewhere. But yeah, so the sulky ones will fit in there as well. We do have the big sulky boxes, but they're big things. You know, these are nice when you just want to do them for us. And as Brent said, that's a very cool little thing.
Yeah.
But from what I can gather, when Brenda and Laura mentioned them on their Flosstube, you can't buy them for love of money now on eBay. So anyone who's selling these things, I think they must have just, well, that night when we all ordered them, but then again, I think when Brenda and Laura mentioned them, I think there must have been one.
I ordered that one that night.
That's right, and then you ordered.
And when it came in the mail, you stole it straight away.
Mm.
This one here I ordered just before Brenda and Laura's video went up.
Thankfully, yes. Yeah. I said to him, you'd better get that second one ordered because I'm assuming Brenda and Laura will mention them, and if they do, forget about it. You won't be able to get it. So, we're very fortunate. The only thing is just bear in mind for anyone that does look for these on eBay, there are some that are up there, but they're the Tidy Made Deluxe thread boxes. Now, from what I wish I could think of a name. From what the lady who showed us these that night said, she got the deluxe ones as well, but the deluxe one the lid doesn't go down with this size thread on them. They're obviously designed for these little tiny spools, and I'm sure the deluxe ones are fine for that type that Bren got, but they don't fit these, so don't get the deluxe ones. You'll probably see I think you looked again the other night, and there were quite a lot of deluxe ones still on there. Don't get those ones. But you also, we'll be able to show you when they get here. Brennan also found a new one. Like, I mean, these are vintage, but you actually found really good little portable thread boxes.
We hope so.
We don't want to mention it yet until they arrive, and we'll see what they're like.
So they should be here in time for the next video.
Oh, good. That'll be good.
So they shipped yesterday. So.
Oh, well, that's really good. Oh, well, that's quick. That's really good. So, yeah. So we'll show you those in our next video. Brennan,
if they're any good.
If they're any good. Yeah, Bren said if they're as good as he thinks they're going to be, he'll do an order and then we'll mention it. No, they're in, as I said, these are in short supply because they are a vintage item. So, yes. Now what, Brendan?
Well, the only other purchases that I've had was an Apple Watch, but that doesn't really count.
Oh, that doesn't count. It hasn't arrived yet.
It doesn't arrive till next week. So it's the Apple Watch Ultra or something because it's orange.
You know why he got it? Exactly, because
it's got orange buttons and orange. That's the only reason. We didn't order the new phones.
Not yet. We want to see if there's anything wrong with them first.
I don't think there's any need to. They don't really change much, I don't think. We'll see.
Oh, Gadget Boy here. I would like to, put our house mortgage on whether or not he'll have one. But anyway, we'll see. You'll see. What? You were looking at the other night. You liked the purple one, didn't you?
Yeah, I like the purple colour, but...
He'll be getting it, don't worry.
$2,000 for a purple phone, just because the fact it's purple. I don't know.
There's nothing wrong with that.
I don't know that they've changed all that much, so we'll see.
It gets to the point, honestly, you do start to wonder what else can they do to make that much difference, really. They pretty much do everything now. Okay, so my purchases, I didn't do a lot of purchasing. Most of the stuff that I've got a lot of stuff here, but most of the stuff I've got are things like stitch alongs I've signed up for, or I have signed up for previously. So I'll show you that. So, like part 1 or part 3 or whatever has dropped. I haven't been able to stitch any of these because I'm doing that model. As soon as that's done, I'm starting as many as I can. The one that I'm loving, and I wish I could have started this at the beginning, but as I said, gotta get my priorities right. This one is by Lola Crow Cross Stitch on Etsy. This is called the Haunted Library Sale. Chapter 3 has just come out, and this is the Watcher of the Bookcase. So this is where it's up to at the moment. Deborah, I just realised, is that focusing? Because we don't want to have that drama again.
I don't know.
Oh, don't tell me.
Put it in front of your face.
Oh, you nearly knocked my drink over.
I nearly dropped your drink over.
You knocked it into my drink. Oh, my gosh. That was nearly a disaster.
I didn't do anything.
Would have gone over my linen. Anyway, let's hope.
Would have gone over my nice Fox and Rabbit tablecloth.
Okay, so that one is really exciting. I can't remember.
Maybe I should move your drink over here.
I tend to talk with my hands. I can't remember how many parts are in this, but it's just so much fun. And every time I see a new part come out, I'm kicking myself. I haven't started it yet, so that's that one. I joined up for the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. This is their Halloween wreath, and from what I understand, pretty sure this is a 12-month stitch along. So I think the whole idea is that we start. I think part 1 comes out. We've got all the supply lists. I think part 1 comes out in October, and then the idea is we'll be finished, I guess, next September. So we've got a Halloween. That's just the cover sheet for it. That's the Frosted Pumpkin Halloween wreath. A friend told me about that one, so I joined that one. I joined all of Barbara Anna's. She usually does these little 3-part or 2-part, 3-part mystery sales, and then the charts are usually released. Well, usually they're always released, I think. This one's called Bonkers. I can't show you the picture because I've only got the pattern, but it's Bonkers. It's a Alice in Wonderland sale. So that's what it's called. Part 1 dropped, I think it was yesterday. So I've downloaded that. Haven't kidded that one up yet, but it's just one that I want to get. And oftentimes I've found that with the last 2 Barbara Anna mysteries, she usually gives you a little bonus chart that is not then available, I don't think, or it might be available separate for purchase, but it's kind of like a free bonus if you've done the mystery. So in other words, when the chart's released, it doesn't come with it. It may be separate. This is just a little one I bought when I think of Halloween by Puntini. Just that little cutie, just to add to my Halloween stash. Gosh, I hope this is focusing. If it's not focusing, our apologies. We're not refilming it. Brent will have to fix it for next week. And as I said, there's a lot of things that I just belong to. So the one thing I've fallen behind on that I will... Oh, that's our ice maker just saying it's full. The Supernatural Stitch Along by the Witchy Stitcher. I kept up with Brendan's cryptid one every week, but I've fallen behind because I've got my model. But typically they take a...
You're pointing over there too, and no one knows why you're
pointing
over there.
Oh, actually, do you want to show... We'll show that in a minute. I just realised we haven't shown Brendan's cryptid thing framed. But the Supernatural one, each creature typically takes about a day to stitch, and I'm about 4 behind. So I will catch up on this as soon as the other one's finished. Oh, there it is. So that's the Witchy Stitcher Cryptid Sal, finished and framed.
This frame is still sticky.
Oh, they painted, the framer painted, they didn't tell me they didn't have the moulding, and they actually painted... they painted what looks like a silver moulding black, but it's
so sticky still.
I think to do that you need you'll need some sort of primer or something underneath it to make it stick.
We're going to have to repaint it because the paint's coming off.
I know. They gave it that. My friend went and picked it up for me when she was picking hers up, and I don't think it had dried properly when they gave it to us, but that's been a month now, and anyway, it doesn't matter. It looks good. And it's on the wall next to him here. So, yeah, so this week's one is called Zweigart. It's a vampire witch anyway. So That's that one. And like I said, there was an angel. There's been quite a few. I've just got to catch up. But as I said, they're typically a day or so each. So I'll be finished that model by October. So then my priority is going to be catching up on those because I want to finish that when it finishes. This week, the Laurel Witch cross stitch. She has some fabulous designs, but just for I think it was for a couple of days.
I'm getting ready for the next section.
She actually has she has all these little tiny witches, and this one was a Little Witch United Kingdom. And in light of the Queen's passing, she made this one free for, I think it was a day or maybe a week, I can't remember. But it's that cute little UK witch. So I downloaded that one when it was for free. They're always very quick to stitch. Okay, so as many of you know, I'm actually, I've mentioned it before, I'm a member of Teresa Koget's Patreon, and I think it's hands down the best Patreon out there. It's such great value for money. I'm in tier 4, but so along with the 3 charts that you get in tier 4, as well as the stitch along that we're all doing, you can also, Teresa also releases a little ornament every month, which is discounted for her Patreons. And so, because we're heading into the Christmas stitching now, this is September's ornament, and it's called Santa's Friends. You can only buy it if you're a Patreon of Teresa's. I think it's like $4 or something, $5, something like that. So yeah, so I've got that one, and then Teresa's actual, again, like, I mean, these are purchases, I guess, because it is a monthly. Whoops, it is a monthly subscription. So the most fun is, again, this is for tier 4. This is the Strawberry Manor Mystery Sale. So every month Teresa releases a new part of this, and it's an 8-part. Again, I've started this. I've got to get back to it after my model is finished. So part 4 came out last night, this morning. So this is where we're up to at the moment. So the new part is the one down the bottom left. So that's Strawberry Manor. It's beautiful. It's such a beautiful design. And Teresa's stitching it along with all of her patrons, so it's really cool. Now, I'm not sure if I showed this before. I can't remember, but she's actually, I think she's well on the way to 2,000. I think she's about almost 1,600 now. But when Teresa got to 1,000 Patreon subscribers, she released this beautiful chart for us. It was only up for a very short period of time as a thank you to the first 1,000 or something. But this is called Beauty Fades. And it's just gorgeous. And what a beautiful way to thank her patrons for, I don't know, is it thank her Patreons or thank her patrons? I'm not quite sure. It's Patreon, but I'm not quite sure what we are. So that's beautiful. I want to stitch that. And then where did we do our last Flosstube from? Was that from the States?
From here.
Or from here? Was it? I can't remember anything.
From home.
It's been such a blur since we got home. Was it at home, was it?
Yep.
That's right, it was too.
Because I know it, because I was still editing that video at 3 o'clock.
I do remember. I do remember
falling asleep while I was editing.
So then I've probably shown September's, August chart. So I'll just show September's then.
Yeah.
So, okay. So for this month, for September, this is for tiers 2, 3, and 4. This is Bristol Haven. Everyone loves a good red house. See, I have no memory of doing that last one. Isn't that crazy? This I really, really love. My friend Naomi has stitched a big part of the border of this already. This one's for tiers 3 and 4, and it is Remember Me. I love everything about this.
I remember the last video. I had to edit heaps because you swore through the whole thing.
I did not. Was that the one that we did with the camera overheating?
Yeah. No, that was.
The last few weeks are just blending into one for me.
That was in America. That one.
Oh, anyway, I'm just so tired. Okay, and this one was just for tier 4. This is her first antique reproduction, and it's fabulous. And it's what she's called it, Teach My Heart, because I don't think there's no name on the original antique sampler. Didn't have a name on it. So this is Teach My Heart, and it's a lovely little antique sampler reproduction. Well, that's good. That means I don't have to show the August ones then, so that's all right. Now, and then there's the Witchy Stitches, September. I'm also a patron of hers. So this is Frosted Pumpkin Cottage. This is the Witchy Stitch. Oh, that's hard to see. I don't know if you can see that.
It doesn't matter where you put the thing.
I was going to say, I think that's a bit hard to see.
It's black, you can't see.
Yep. So that's gorgeous as well. And what other purchases have... Oh, you bought me these. You bought me these 2 bags. So this was a gift. Oh, no. Oh, something's just hit the floor. Okay. These, I love Goose. I love their project bags. And speaking of Teresa, Brenda bought me these. These are in Teresa's different patchwork fabric. She also has fabric lines as well. So that's one of the vinyl front ones from Goose. Brenda put their Etsy store up. I love their bags. And actually there it is. So you don't have to put the link up, baby. We'll put that up towards the camera.
Because I didn't know what it was. So
I was going to say.
I'm glad
Hopefully you can see that. They're the details. Fabulous bags. And so my second one is Teresa's Halloween fabric. Yeah, so Goose on Etsy.
Put that back in the other way, you'll lose it.
Yes, I always like to have their contact. So that was a nice surprise for me. Leaving one thing to last. I'm also in the Threads of History Club from Country Sampler. And I was just thrilled. This just arrived. It got caught. Everything at the moment from the States, if it's coming from the northern part of the United States, it seems to be getting caught in Chicago.
And going to the US as well.
Ages.
Stuff going to the US is getting caught as
well. This was
sent. If it goes to Los Angeles, when we're sending things, they get caught there for a week or 2 now in customs.
I don't know what's going on. Yeah, we sent something to Gary and Ronnie from Garon.
It went straight to
Miami. And it went straight to because they're in Florida. It went straight to Miami, straight to them. They already have it. We sent 2 other parcels to friends over there the same day. They're still both stuck in Los Angeles. So who can tell? But this was sent to me. They were wonderful. I did want to leave it until we got back from the States in case it was here and the tracking hadn't been updated. But it wasn't, and as always is the case, once you check, once you ask about it, they put a query in, and suddenly it got here. So, but they were happy to do whatever they could to chase it. They're great at Country Sampler. So, but how good is this? And their kits are beautiful. Like, look how it's hard. Oh,
you just wrecked it.
It's beautiful when you see the how they package everything. You always know it's a Country Sampler kit, and the threads all come like that. But they're full skeins.
Put it down before you wreck it.
I know, it's so pretty. And this is Lydia Cohagen by Blackbird Designs. So, how good is that? But yeah, I think they sent that to me. No, it wasn't their fault. No, because it got stuck in Chicago. It was literally just sitting there from July. I think it was early July, and I literally just got it, but it was worth the wait. I don't mind at all waiting for things if they get stuck in the mail system, because we know what that's like. Goodness me, I had our shop for 22 years. It's just that you worry that they've been lost, I don't ever like to chase things up with a shop until you start to worry that, well, maybe it's been lost. That's the only time I'll ever chase something. But because otherwise, I know from a shop point of view, there were times we get people chasing something that, rare thing that we didn't really lose a lot of stuff over the years, but, in the mail system. But sometimes it's easier if you're a little bit concerned about a package that may have gone astray. If it has, it's better to let the shop know early on, because there's more chance of them being able to track it than if you leave it a couple of months and then say, oh, look, I still haven't received that order. Well, the shop doesn't know if you don't tell them. So I should bear that in mind when I was doing that anyway. Okay, what else? Oh, now I'm also in the Leo and Roxy Thread Club. Now I've got 2 lots. Now this is typical of that too. I got September's only about a week after August's. Again, stuck in Chicago, but I was shocked when I got the last parcel because I thought I've only just gotten August, which usually takes about 5 weeks to get here, 5 or 6 weeks usually. But the September one arrived really quickly, and it's strange because it comes from Canada, so they ship it to a company in the United States. Then the United States gives it a new tracking number, and then it comes to Australia Post, and the Australia Post give it a new tracking number and give it to us. So that, it seems to be the middle one in the United States. It seems to get hung up there for a while, and that's fine. I know now this is about the 6th month or something. So I know it's going to take a while. But September got here really fast. I didn't even get a chance to follow the tracking. It got here so quick. So I'm happy with that. So I'll just show you some of these. These are beautiful. I'm in both the neutral and the bright clubs. So I'll just show you a few of these. Do you want to do this? This is molasses.
No, we're going to
I'll go through them.
Every colour, are we?
Well, we don't have to.
It's okay.
I'll do them quickly.
There's like
Untoward.
7 million of them.
I know, because I've got 2 months worth. Dorothy. They're all beautiful. They're beautiful threads. Pinky Promise. Oh, that's a cool name. Rhymes with Orange. Limeade. These are really, they're just pretty. And Craisins.
What's a craisin?
I don't know what a craisin is. No idea. I'm sure it's something. Jaded.
Is that like a dried cranberry?
I have no idea, mate. Brazen? I wouldn't have a clue. I'll have to look it up and Google it. You're My Jam. Oh, that's a beautiful purple. Don't Be Jelly. These are great names. And Strawberry Truffle. Now, I think they might be September's. I've got them all mixed up because they're all going to go on my floss ring now. So I think these might have been August. There's that ice machine again. Washed Denim. That's a great colour.
Should have turned it off.
Common Currency. Yes Yam. Don't know what that means. Pebble Beach.
Where do they get all their names
The
from?
great names. Don't Be Blue.
I need to steal some of these names.
Off the Record. People like our names of our fabrics.
We're running out of names.
Morganite. Moscato. And Yearly Bonus. Oh, it's gold. That's a great name. These are all just for my personal stitching because I'd love to design with them, but they're only available from Leo and Roxy and from Evertote, sorry. So thank you, Caroline. That last September shipment got here really quickly, so from Evertote. So thank you, and I love them. Okay, now the other thing I purchased last month, and we're all eagerly waiting for the first one to drop. It's Autumn Lane's Dark Queen of the Earth. I've bought Dark Queen of the Seas, but I haven't done that yet, so I am going to do this one over the next 12 months. But part 1 has dropped. Again, I'm itching to get this stitched. I even asked Brendan if he might stitch part 1 for me, just so while I'm stitching that model, he can have part 1 stitched for me, so I can be up to date when I can stitch part 2. But this is the first part. See, that's not a lot of stitching. Well, it's a little bit of stitching, but you could do that for me. I'm going to be doing this on 32 count just because there's a bead pack and everything that's on its way to me now. But the colours are absolutely beautiful. Oh, I've got the Rainbow Gallery too, but they've fallen on the floor. But the colours are just beautiful, earthy colours. A lot of greens, which is my favourite colour. So that's beautiful. Now, I dyed myself and a friend in the States, it's on its way to her already. I dyed some different colours, and I'm not sure yet which one I'm going to use. I think Brendan likes this one the best, I think. I'm not going to be able to see this in this light, but I'm not sure. It's like green on green, sort of. He likes that one. That was the one you liked the best, wasn't it?
No, I can't remember.
Yeah, it was. And it's got a little bit of brown muted colours in there as well. And it does look nice. The floss toss does look nice in that, but I'm leaning towards this one, which is similar colours to that, but I put a lot more brown in it. And that's that one. I don't know whether you can see it in this light, but it's actually, it's really pretty. Like lime greens, dark greens, and browns.
Can you stop punching me in the face?
Sorry, baby. I'm going to smack you in the face. I did some others as well. This one had a little bit more mint green. When I'm ready to get Brendan to start stitching
I'll
part
just go
one,
over here.
I'm going to. And then I also did one. Oh, I did a few different ones. So this one's kind of like more like an aqua green with brown. And then I did one of the others, but it was like on an even weave, so it's a lot softer. So I've got all those to choose from. I'm pretty sure I'm going to go with this one. Pretty sure. So hopefully I can convince Bren to stitch part one for me, and then I can be all caught up.
Not happening.
Well, it probably will be happening because I'm desperate to get that. I don't want to be behind Bren. So yeah, so that is going to be started. Hopefully by the time we've got the next video, Bren will have stitched.
You can't even make your mind up what fabric you want.
No, I'm pretty sure it's that one now. But and the only other thing is these purchases as well. My friend Carol, I've shown you these before. These beautiful fabric packs from Moda. My friend Carol, Cherry Pie Design, has a patchwork business. And she buys these in for me when I ask her to. And these are good because they're great for when I'm doing my finishing projects and stuff. So this one is, again, I haven't taken them out of the bundle yet, but this is...
They'll never come out of the bundle.
I know.
You've got
I'm very bad.
50 of them in the cupboard
very
at home.
Bad.
Look exactly the same as when you bought them.
I know, but they're so nice. And I do want to make some quilts out of them. So this is Rendezvous by Three Sisters. Very, very, very pretty. It's all kind of navies, greens, reds. Look at those beautiful colours. So that's one. And this one I just love. This is Happiness Blooms by Deb Strain. And I love this because it's all greens and creams. Practically every shade of green is in this beautiful, beautiful fabric pack. Look how beautiful those green colours are. I'm pretty sure that's focusing. I can see it for me. So yeah, so that arrived while we were away, so that was good.
It's a bit late to be worrying about that.
What?
Focusing. Oh. We're an hour and a half into the video.
Now, today, I don't want you having a meltdown later on when you're editing this thing. Also too, I've been trying, I'm starting to catch up on all my Flosstube watching. I've just been so busy just working, I haven't had time, but today I was doing a lot of ironing. And I was watching Linen and Scraps, Molly and Kathy. Kathy is the beautiful person who got these, Bren's at home, but these beautiful scissor block kits that she sells. And Kathy was kind enough, so kind, to actually make ours up for us. But if you are looking, have a look at these beautiful, these scissor block sets you can buy and make up. They're gorgeous. But I was watching them, and their latest Flosstube. Two things. One, I've had this for a while because I'm a member of the Sampler Heart Facebook group, which is a great group. And there's an amazing generous person. I don't know how her name is pronounced, but it's Inguna Christina. But she often has put some beautiful free designs up on the group. And Kathy was showing it today on their video when I was watching it. And I thought, oh, I remember I downloaded that quite some time ago. So if you're, they're still available. If you're a member of the Sampler Heart Facebook group, you can go into the files and download it. This is an amazing sampler. I think Kathy said she's stitching it in wool. So that's that one there. And it's beautiful, and it's called, I should have said the name of it, it's called Jean's Bunnies. Is that right?
Jean Cummings, 1815. So it's got two names.
Oh no, I think I've got, because there's a couple. Oh, no, that must be it. Oh, there we go. There we go. So, yeah. So, Sample Heart Facebook group. Oh, my gosh. While I was watching that, there's such two fun ladies to watch. I love their floss tubes. Oh, my gosh. Not to mention a downer thing or anything, but at the end of it, Kathy was recommending you watch a floss tube. It's a documentary by Robert Ham about his lovely wife, Melanie. The title of the floss tube is Made with Melanie, a featured documentary by Robert Ham. Melanie Ham was an amazing YouTuber. She's a beautiful soul. She started her YouTube channel back in 2011. And if anyone's familiar with it, I'm sure many of you are, she had nearly 1 million followers. Unbelievable. She would do lots of crochet tutorials and sewing and crafting and knitting and patchwork and everything. Unbelievably beautiful person who sadly lost her battle with cancer in January of this year. And this beautiful, it's about an hour and a half. If you go to Melanie Ham, if you do a search for Melanie Ham on Flosstube, you'll see, well, first of all, we're lucky we've got all of her hundreds of videos there. So she will live on through those videos and through her beautiful children and her husband. And this documentary is one of the most heartwarming things. And Kathy was right. You certainly need a box of tissues by the end because it's just getting all choked up. This rotten cancer has taken too many people too young. So, yeah, so if you just makes you sort of want to hug those you love a bit more, when you see this and just, be grateful for every minute we have because it's a heartwarming story and I really would recommend anyone to go and have a look at that one. So, yeah, so thank you, Kathy, for recommending that. That sort of was very uplifting and make a nice donation to the Cancer Council after this today. So anyway, what else? So I think that's all my purchases, baby. I think that's everything.
Wow.
What?
Look at the big pile down here.
But they're all my kind of ongoing. They're Patreon things. They're my stitch-alongs. I haven't actually bought much. Oh, except for the fabric. Yeah. That's it. What's next?
But we've been lucky to have some nice things sent to us lately.
Yes.
I'm going first.
You go first. Absolutely. Can I have my drink back, please?
No, you can't be trusted.
Brendan, I want my drink back.
You can't be trusted.
I'm dying first.
You can't be trusted.
I can't reach. He's got to hand it to me.
Nope. So,
I'm actually serious, but I need a drink. Thank you. Thank you.
I don't trust you with it. If you're dirtying my tablecloth, you're in trouble.
Oh, good Lord.
So, the first gift, I'm guessing we'd call it, wouldn't we?
From our beautiful friend Julie.
Yeah. It's from Hemlock and Rye. So, I think the two colourways are in this, aren't they?
They are.
The Neapolitan sampler. I think the two colourways are there.
Oh, it is. It's the two colourways.
Yeah.
From the front and from the back. Julie did, like she did Thurza, Priscilla Dawes, which was her first reproduction. Julie designs her originals as well, but her first reproduction was Thurza Priscilla Dawes, and this is her second. And as she did with Priscilla, she actually charred this from the front and the back, both in the same chart.
So there's an aged version and an original colourway version in the same chart.
Off the back, yeah. Julie's always very generous like that. It's a great value. You can find that on her Gumroad page if you do a search for, well, I'll have it for Hemlock and Rye Century. So yeah, she's actually got a lot of beautiful samples in the pipeline too. So keep an eye on what Julie's doing. She's travelling through England at the moment, so you can see her travel blog on her Flosstube, Kansas City Girl in Colorado World. It's a lot of fun to watch.
And Becca from Sambury Stitches sent me some charts.
Sent you some charts?
Yes. So she has a whole series of different Bigfoot charts. So the first one is a Thanksgiving one called Thankful. Bigfoot's getting ready for Turkey Day. And Bigfoot's also getting ready for Halloween in Spooky. And she's also done a reproduction sampler as well, which is Mary Calderwood 1844, which is a pretty one.
And that'd be a quick stitch too. It's lovely. Becca's knocking some fantastic charts out. And just I hope you're feeling better too, Becca. I know you've been struggling. I think she's had sort of a long COVID. So, I hope you're feeling better. Thank you.
So you can get those off her Etsy store. We'll put the link below.
The link will be below.
Yep. And I've got one other little present as well.
Brendan's been spoiled this last week. Anyway.
Okay. From Michelle from Mama Loves You GB. So in the UK, they've been doing the Great British Coin Hunt. They had one.
Oh, is that what it was? Oh, they had the Australian one too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing as cool as that.
So the I think they're £1 coins.
Oh.
For L, they did the Loch Ness Monster.
Oh, it's going through the alphabet. Is that what happens?
Yeah, there's 26 coins in the series in Australia anyway.
Okay.
And each coin is for the letter of the alphabet.
Oh, okay. I didn't know.
Wow.
I knew what it was called. I didn't know what was involved in it.
Yeah, so it's L for Loch Ness Monster. So thank you, Michelle.
And she gave you a beautiful card too.
Oh, you've got a nice card as well.
It was so thoughtful. You got that just as we got home.
Yeah.
Yeah. Should be N for Nessie, not L for
Loch Ness.
Loch
Ness Monster.
So what have I got? Okay, I just got also some floss cards, which are beautiful, from Vicky. And a gorgeous card. Look at that cool card. I love that. And these are her floss drops, which I shall get a hole punched in soon. It's VR2TH Fairy. Oh, Tooth Fairy. I get that now. Anyway, so thank you so much, Vicky. I love those. They're beautiful. Oh, I love all my floss cards. I've got to get them all punched.
What have you done to my thingy?
What have I done to what?
To my thing.
Nothing.
When all your stuff that's...
Oh, anyway.
You've wrecked the menus. Now it doesn't work properly.
So Vicky is VR, the number 2 TH Fairy. So thank you, Vicky. Okay, now this was a lovely surprise. This is, now I won't say her name because I'll say her first name. Thank you, Amy. Because, you know what it's like without a print charts. It was the same with that other beautiful one I got when we were in the States. I don't want to mention their names because then they could get inundated with requests to borrow these beautiful charts. But I was just blown away. These were sent to me on loan, obviously, so I've got to get them. Yeah, they've been wonderful to the people who've loaned me the primitive needle charts because they know I've been looking for them for years. But, you know, there's no sort of, they've all said there's no hurry. Look, I mean, I want to stitch them as quick as I can because I want to get them back. I'd like to get a lot of stuff stitched so I can mail some of them back when we're back in the States, but these are just beautiful. So she sent me Witches 9, which I love. Oh, don't know the show the chart. Witches 9. I'll put them back. Thanks, baby. I love this one. This is Halloween Garden. Halloween Garden. That actually doesn't look like it would take long to stitch. I'm going to do so much Halloween stitching once this model's done. I can't even tell you.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Thank you. This one, I love this one because look at the colour of the fabric it's on. It's called Ichabod Seabury. Oh, I don't know if that's too dark for you to see. But I love that one. And this is the hair game board. Oops. I'll just pull it out of the thing. That's the hair game board. Lisa Rao, late Lisa from Primitive Needle, is one of my favourite designers, and my aim is to have a whole wall just of Primitive Needle. I've got one back there. This is my one, which was Moon Sick. I think I showed you guys this in one of our previous videos, but that's Moon Sick by Primitive Needle, and that's hanging behind me there.
Did you show this one?
Yes, I have. And she also sent 2 charts just for me to keep, which was amazing. And one of them was a friend of mine collects. It's gone out of my head. It's completely gone out of my head. But my friend Alexis collects the charts by. Oh, it's gone out of my head. Anyway, another lovely Halloween chart. So I've sent that to my friend Alexis because she's always looking for this particular designer. So, but this one I just love so much. This is Prairie Moon. I do believe in spooks. Isn't that fabulous? I love this so much. So much. Look at that. So, Amy, thank you so very much for those. Especially the 2 gifts. They were just really good. But I will get those primitive stitches done as soon as I can so I can
Primitive needle.
What did I say? Primitive stitch. Did I?
Primitive needle.
Is there such a thing as primitive stitch?
I don't know, but it's primitive needle.
Primitive needles stitched. And back to everyone who has loaned me the charts. I'm so, so grateful. There's still ones I'm looking for, but I'm not in any hurry because I need to get all these ones stitched first. So, bright needle. It was a bright needle chart. I knew it. See, it's always sitting there and there's just too much going on. So thank you so much for that. Also, we have a little group of us friends who are stitchers, and we're in different parts of Australia, and we have a little Facebook group called, and we Zoom every so often, called Scattered Stitches. And Jenny, who's one of my friend that had the birthday on the 5th, she actually made for us, and again, this was waiting for us when we got back from the States. A bit after that, after our last Flosstube had arrived. This is a little pincushion that she designed and stitched for everybody in our little group. So I love that, Jenny. Thank you so much. It's just beautiful. Okay, so last but absolutely not least, because this just arrived today, again, has been caught in, I think, Chicago for almost 2 months. But better late than never, so that's fantastic. Again, it's not the weight, it's more the worry about it being gone astray. Colour and Cotton. Angela is such a lovely person. We met Angela and her team when we were in St. Louis back in March, and we were fortunate enough to visit their beautiful, beautiful studio. Colour and Cotton do the most amazing threads and hand-dyed fabrics. We're very, very fortunate to know them, and so I joined their Floss Club, and Angela has been sending me these. So these all just arrived. They're just amazing. There's probably too many to go through now. Will I show them now or individually?
You may as well show them.
Yay! Well, seeing as I did the others. These are beautiful. Now, the good thing about these is these are for, so I've got my lovely design ring, which I will be designing with their cottons for some of our market releases next year, Nashville market releases. But the good thing about these is some of these are unique to the, I read Angela's letter.
They're all unique to the club.
They're unique to I think they're all unique to their Floss Club. But if there's a colour in there I want to design with, they will make it for me for the kits, for the thread kits. Look at these. These are the all colours 5 skeins.
For August. For
August, yeah. Yeah, September's are on their way. Again, I've been tracking it. They're in.
I'm going to make sure you put them.
They're in Chicago.
Because they're packaged really nicely.
They are packaged really nicely, but they're going to go on a thread ring, Brendan. So, but so that's the 5 colours. These are the 10 colours for August. As I said, hopefully by the time we do our next video, the next lot will be here.
Leave it on.
Yeah, leave it on that. They're still in Chicago, but look at those gorgeous colours. And if you're watching this, I can guarantee you there will be colours I do want to cherry pick out of these to design with. So, but it's wonderful because what they're going to do for us is if we've got a design, they're going to make the thread packs for shops to be able to purchase to go with our designs. So that'll be really good. We're looking forward to working with them going forward. Oh, that was the one. Oh, these ones. These are the 5 skeins. These are the different things you can get in their Floss Club. I don't know if it's full, but this one is the 5 skeins primitive neutrals, which, oh my gosh. You know, the one thing that I'm always on the hunt for is a really good orange. I love some of the gentle art oranges and stuff because they're so hard to get. You know, we're constantly having shops ask us not to design with them, which is really sad. But now I'm looking at some of these oranges, especially those ones. The one that's called pumpkin pie, and I don't know what the other one's, something gourd. I will absolutely be doing designs with those because those are great, dirty, I like grungy, dirty oranges, so they're fantastic. And last but not least, this is the bright variegated 5 skeins. I was so excited when this came today. I thought, great timing, we've got our Flosstube. Look how beautiful they are. So yeah, Colour and Cotton Fabric Floss Club, can't recommend that highly enough. That's our first shipment. So now I'm going to be stalking the tracking number so I can see when it leaves, when September's leaves Chicago. I think they hold it hostage there. I don't know. Didn't you say that they're actually now going through DHL or something?
Oh, that's
Something's
what
happening.
someone told me, that DHL is doing some of the overseas processing, which is why it's
probably not getting caught in Chicago if it's going somewhere else in the United States, but I think that they're working somehow with DHL to get it over here. Well, who knows? As long as it's there and it hasn't.
It'll come eventually.
That's all we care about. Okay, and we've been talking with Angela about the whole fabric business.
So obviously, fabric supply, we're lucky in that we're able to order direct from Zweigart, but the dyers in the US aren't able to do that because of the exclusive arrangements the distributors in the US have. They all have to go through distributors, which makes it a little bit harder for those guys to plan for fabric. So when we were over there in March, and since then we've been talking about and testing out different other brands, quality brands of linen, with the ultimate aim is to really have 2 or maybe even 3 different brands of base linen.
Shore up supply, basically.
Yeah, to make sure that we can always supply. So if something happened with Zweigart, and if they get back in a situation again where they're 7 and 8 months behind, then even we'll start running out of fabric.
Yep.
So just making sure that there's options to continue supply. And
Angela was on the same page as us.
Yeah. So we've been testing base linens from a number of different
companies,
factories, I guess, from around the world. I think we've settled on our second version of linen, and I know that Colour and Cotton have been testing permanent linen.
Yeah.
So I think you've got a piece here that they actually sent
Angela sent me a piece because we're there trying to sort of. There seems to be, I don't understand it, but there seems to be an association with permanent that people think, I don't like permanent, it's scratchy or it's like really, really open. I don't, and maybe the general coloured, factory produced stuff might be, but when it's hand dyed, you love it. You like it better than Zweigart, don't you?
Yeah, it actually, when it's dyed,
it's beautiful.
I've had pieces too where you get the factory colours and they are really stiff.
Yeah.
They almost feel like Ada.
Yeah. Well,
sometimes.
not that there's anything wrong with that, but yeah, it's
but
just...
they have that stiffness of Ada, which is hard if you're using a hoop or if you're using a frame to actually do it. But when it's actually hand dyed, the permanent linen actually becomes softer, and there's actually
it closes the holes too.
Yeah, there's not that much difference in texture between Zweigart and permanent when it's dyed. So just as an example, we've got 2 pieces of linen here, both hog bristle.
Yeah, because sometimes a base fabric will take up a colour differently. It's not a good or bad thing. They just sometimes are not. The dyes just are a different colour on that base linen.
Well,
I don't know what. But look at that. There's hardly any difference.
There is a slight difference in colour.
But margin.
This linen is a little bit darker, so it's taking up the colour a little bit better than this linen.
But Brendan dyed that piece of hog bristle for just as a test thing, and I just grabbed it. Now I've been sort of putting it aside because I love it so much. I just love the way the dyes sit on it too. It's just a softer mottling and everything, and I love it. So I've been putting that aside, and I haven't used it yet because it's kind of like oh, I love this piece. I don't know. I want to put something special on it. But yeah, and so Angela's been at Colour and Cotton are doing the same thing. They're doing some things on the permanent linen. They're doing some things on Zweigart.
But when you're looking at the actual pieces and holding up the weave, there's not actually that much difference between the two once it's dyed. No,
which is really... as I said...
it's just something that we're looking at the moment.
This is a beautiful piece of... this is called Sea Oats, and it's the 35 count because permanent is 35 rather than 36. And Angela sent us a fat quarter. I don't think you can see this, but it's absolutely beautiful. And it's called Sea Oats. And the quality, it's just beautiful. It's beautiful feel. It's a beautiful modelling. I think she said sometimes it's a softer model on the permanent. So she knows that we're sort of we've been experimenting, and so are they. So I think if we can get the word out that permanent is a really, really good hand-dyed linen.
Yeah, so I know that Angela's already selling some permanent linen on her website.
So check out Colour and Cotton.
We're not at that stage yet. We're still doing testing. But I think in March we might actually release a colour exclusively on the permanent linen.
At market.
Yeah, at market.
So that way the shops can come, they can see what beautiful quality it is. Because it's one thing saying it on a video or on a post. It's another thing when the shops can actually see it, feel it, and be convinced that it's really good. It doesn't mean we're going that way and we're not doing Zweigart. Absolutely not. We've got many thousands invested in what we've got even sitting over there. It's just to fill the holes.
Yeah.
For example, if the 36 count is going to be 3 months, for example, it's not for us at the moment, but if that does come down the track, well, it might be a fact that permanent's 36 count is available.
35 this is.
Or 35, but yeah. So it'd be like, better that we have constant supply, I think, than have periods where you can't get linen. That's basically what we're looking at.
So that's what we're looking at the moment. We haven't made any final decisions yet. But as I said, we'll actually...
It's just beautiful.
We'll actually start to, probably in 2 months, we'll actually start to dye some permanent linen and get it out into the hands of some of the shops so that they can actually have a look at it and
just send them some samples as well, but definitely for market.
Yeah.
It might just be an exclusive colour just on the permanent linen for market, and just ease people into it. And just, as I said, everyone we've spoken to said, well, I prefer to have linen, even if it's on a different base, as long as the base is good, than not have any at all. So, that's what I think we're going to...
Well, we'll see how we go. We've got some more testing to do yet. I'm still speaking to Perman, making sure that we can get supply. They've
been wonderful to deal with too, as is Zweigart. They are, as I said, this is not to replace Zweigart by any stretch. They've been fantastic to work with.
Yeah.
They've been very supportive of us. But when you've got a business and you've got all your eggs in this basket, which we have basically. We also have our design business, but basically it's, Brendan left his job almost 2 years ago?
No, a year and a half ago.
18 months ago? Yeah, in January. It'll be 2 years. We've got to make sure we can't have a business if there's no fabric to dye, basically. And as Brendan said, we're very fortunate. We're not in the situation some dyers in the States are in. But who knows? You don't know what happens in June next year or... so it's just a security measure we want to put in place. So as does Colour and Cotton. I'm hoping it's going well for them. I don't know. As I said, Angela sent us this beautiful piece to try, so I'm going to stitch something on that as well because we also want to start stitching on it. Yep. I've got this lovely piece of hog bristle to stitch on as well. So, and also I think you want to get some more samples in different counts as well because at the moment we've only dyed 36 count, I think, and some 40. That's 36 count.
That's 35 count.
Oh, 35. Yeah, whatever, same thing. But,
I'm going to bring in some different counts and we'll dye some of our different colours on the different counts just to see how they go.
We might draw some test people that you send a couple pieces out to, and you can stitch a sample on it for us or something and just tell us what you think.
Yeah.
That might be something we give away in a couple of videos' time or something like that.
Yeah, so they're just some of the things that will be coming up going forward. So there's no need to worry. We're not backing away from Zweigart. Most of our linen will still be on Zweigart.
Yep.
But there could be the occasional colour, or occasionally we could have to use permanent linen if we have some supply issues with Zweigart.
And as I said, the permanent people have been. We did contact them a while back, and they're just the loveliest people to deal with. As I said, these fabric companies are doing their best. Zweigart, I just don't think I think they're still in shock of the demand for it all.
Yeah.
I think they probably thought that after COVID was kind of, it's not over, but, once the pandemic was kind of behind us a bit, that things would just, maybe ease back to normal. But no, which is good. We're good for us. The demand for the linen is higher than ever. So they're doing their absolute best. They can't do anything about the energy crisis happening in Europe. They're heading in. I know I saw something the other day that said, I think it was France, they were turning the lights of the Eiffel Tower off hours earlier for the same reason, for the energy, to save energy. So it's going to be they're heading into winter. So these things are going to happen.
But you can understand them because they need to keep people warm.
That's the main thing, exactly right. So, so that's just something we, and especially, we weren't going to necessarily mention it today, but when Angela's lovely fabric came as well, we thought, well, it's a good time to sort of start broaching the subject of it. So,
yeah. Be interested to hear you guys' opinions around that as well.
Would you be willing to try it at least?
Yeah. As I said, we're not moving away from a Zweigart base. It's just
that's the last thing we want anyone to think, because that's not happening, and we certainly don't want Zweigart to think that either, because we're not. But it just might be a case of we have 2 base linens. That's all.
Yeah.
Because things are just getting orders are just growing and growing. They're touch wood. They're not declining. So we've got to just.
The demand for fabric is growing as well, because there's more and more dyers out there now too, all looking for the same linen base.
Well, that's exactly right. So whereas, so we just want to make sure that we have a good, steady supply long term.
Yeah.
So.
And there's a couple of other companies' linens we're looking at as well.
Yeah.
We're not just looking at permanent. So.
Just to fill the gaps if there is a lull in the things, because there's nothing worse. You feel sick when you find out that, oh my gosh, we aren't going to have X count this month. Luckily, we're not in that situation, but we were about after Expo last year. It was awful. There were times we thought, wow, I don't think we're going to have anything for 2 months, even though we'd ordered things. But now it's a little bit better because you are doing it 6 months out. But we still don't know. You just don't know. So you're a big one for being prepared, aren't you, baby?
Well, we have to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, as I said, we're interested in your feedback. So if you've got any opinions one way or the other, good or bad, we're happy to hear them and take them all on board. None of these decisions have been made, but it's just one of the things that we're looking at the moment.
And just bear in mind that permanent is very, very different when it's hand-dyed. Very different. So, yeah.
Okay.
I don't think there's anything else to say, baby.
Plans.
What are my plans is just to keep stitching day and night on that model. I know I'm talking about that model ad nauseum, but it is all I'm thinking about at the moment. So I just hope you're all going to like it as much as I do. It's a sampler. It's an antique sampler. It's a sampler I've been wanting to reproduce for ages. It was going to be a market release next year, but we decided to do it for the homespun group instead. So that will then eventually, at one time way down the track. But at least it means I've got a model stitch for way down the track when it's released. But that's a long way down the road. So I just hope you're all going to like it as much as I do, because I just love it. So that's all my plans at the moment. We've got my dad's birthday in a couple of weeks. But what else have we got? Anything else? We've got the sampler celebration. Will that be before our next video?
Yeah.
No, it'll be
around about the same time.
Yes, we'll probably film on the Friday
before that,
and it'll be on the Saturday. So no, it'll probably the video after that, I'd say. Excuse me. So so I'm just cutting, serging, ironing. I need to get to work on finishing that border for our Patreon people for the Halloween Advent calendar. That I'm getting done this week. I've got to finish the project bags so we can get those all out to our Patreons in September. And that's basically it. cuddle a whippet or an Italian greyhound or two in the
Occasionally.
meantime. So yeah, what about you?
I don't know what I'll be doing. I'll be dyeing fabric, obviously.
Pretty much that's it for the next couple of weeks.
I'll probably try and get a few stitches in a new constellation or Merry Inglis, but probably not all that much.
Or maybe part one of
No,
mine.
I'm not doing that. Not happening.
Anyway, yeah, you've got it's you know it's like when you go on holidays, it's playing catch up, and we were already playing catch up, and then Brent got sick. So and my dad's just called a little while ago. Apparently he's come down with something. He's feeling revolting at the moment. He's got a very bad flu, so I've just told him he has to go and get a COVID test, and he's grumbling about that. So yeah, so I don't want him sick. So yeah. But no, that's about it. Our life will be pretty much here for the next couple of weeks.
Yep.
So I don't think there will be so many things we've forgotten about. I know. We'll finish and it'll be like, oh, you're
Something for
kidding
the next
me.
video then.
But as I said, we're all set up here now, so it's all very pretty behind us. Is it, Brendan? Did you say it again? Anyway, so yeah, we'll see you in 2 weeks, barring none of us getting sick this time. And until then, we'll see you.
Bye.
Bye.